Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to episode 2 of the 25-26 season. That is the West of Scotland Football League build-up show. As you can see to the right-hand side of my screen is Mark Young, Maryhill manager. Mark, how are we doing this evening, mate?
Good, mate. It's good to finally chat to you in a quiet room instead of behind a tree in Cowan Park, mate.
That makes me sound dodgy, mate.
Yeah.
It was quite strange that actually, like, because I walk my dog quite regularly down there, and it just happened so that I think we bumped into each other 2 or 3 times while he was training. It was you had the boys working hard.
Always, mate. Pre-season, isn't it? If they're no grafting, then there's something wrong.
Right, before we crack on with the show, we need to tell you about our sponsors. Top right hand side of the screen, Roxburgh Insurance Brokers. Exactly what it says in the tin. If you need insurance, Roxburgh Insurance Brokers, that's the place to go. Proud sponsor of this episode is VSN Sport as usual. The bespoke kit, if you're looking for it, then you can contact Gary on 0141 883 7612. Who do you use? Who do you guys use at Maryhill
For
kit?
For kit, only sport.
Only sport, right? I'll not say anything because I like him. But
I know. Big Maryhill man.
Big Maryhill man. Proud sponsor of the episode, as we said, VSN Sport, bespoke kit, design the kit any way you want. Contact Gary on 0141 883 7612. That's that out of the way. Mark, how are things, mate? How do you feel the season started?
Be lying if I said the last couple of weeks have they been good, hadn't they? I don't think anybody would believe me if I never said that. I think we knew, looking at the collective, the 4 games, so I think we're already a game behind some teams because we never had any midweeks. That's because we've got a few buys in the cup, so they've just gave us league fixtures, I think, when the cup's running, so no too bad. Overall, the reality is, mate, we've won 2 games out of 4, so it's not been absolutely tremendous, but the first 2 games of the season, really hard games, Thorn, Bells Hill, and look, you can see the record that Bells Hill are doing now, so it's going to take a bit for people to take some points off of them, so we could do with that, but after that, the bounce back, I'd say the Bells Hill game's probably the only one that I've been disappointed with our performance. That's not that they never deserved it or anything like that, we were miles off it, and we probably had chances within the game. We go 1-0 up, we lose a goal really poorly, and we could maybe potentially take the lead again, being poor. So, sometimes they're the breaks that you get away with, and then they just punished us, to be fair. So, fully deserved it. Then the Thorn game was probably fair. I think they were the better team first half. They could have done what we've done the last couple of weeks and been a couple of goals up early on, never took their chances. We were able to come back and take it, and in the second half I think we were probably stronger, so we felt that maybe we dropped points in the Thorn game at the start of the year, but look, the reality before the game, a team of that quality at their home park, that you're happy to go there and just not get beat and take the point. So, and then look, I think the last 2 weeks speaks for itself. Ashfield's a great
208 goals in 2 games.
208 goals. It's just we just do an hour and a half of shooting at training, mate. That's all we're doing in a game at the end.
It's funny, Mark, because I messaged you during the week and I said like we were doing a little bit of prep for this, and we said I'll just speak to you about kind of the last couple of games and how you've managed to score that many goals, and you literally just said, I think you said along the lines, players are not allowed to go home until they scored 5 goals. Is that right?
5 goals each, mate. They're not allowed to leave. That's the rules. No, look, generally, it's stuff we've been working on. I think pre-season, we did score some goals in pre-season as well, but there was just things not just strikers. We're running through one-on-ones with goals, and we're not taking the chances at times. So we have done it, but like when you focus a lot on finishing and stuff like that, then something has to give. You've only got a limited time, so we then found when we're focusing on shooting, the build up was a wee bit rubbish. You focus back in the build up, and then the shooting drops off. It's boys are goldfish, aren't they? So it's really hard to keep the prep all the time. But it's something we've been lucky. We've been able to train up at the park the last while, so we're able to split. I mean, you've got the space, so strikers can go and do their thing. Midfielders, defenders can go and work on the build up. So that's paid a wee bit of dividends for us recently, and then being able to go and take it. And look, what every gaffer says is it's been clinical, and it's taking your chances when they come. Look at the Cali locals came there at the weekend. It could have easily been tight, mate. Genuinely, they've missed some really good chances, and I know that's me just being fair. That game can swivel. You know what I mean? If you're in at half time instead of up at 4-0 and you're in at 3-2 because of the way it goes, there's a lot more pressure in the game. And it's things that every gaffer will say to their team as you go, you need to take the chances, you need to go and kill the game. So Ashfield were 2 up within 20, Cali Locals were 3 up within 18. I'm going, really great, really happy. No why to talk about it because I don't care about the Old Firm, but kind of like what happened to Rangers last night, mate.
Yeah.
Just to be able to go and do that, and then you can. The disappointing is you don't want the players to step off the gas. You want them to keep going. I mean, you've got that hunger to go and make that score 15, 20 and then just go and kick on. But the reality is that lads will naturally just drop off and stuff like that within the tempo. So I think that happened to us a wee bit Saturday. It never overly happened against Ashfield, but it happened maybe about the hour mark. I made 4 changes and we just dropped a little. But actually, funny, I came in and apologised to the lads on Monday at training. It's no something I do often, but I came in. I know that's it. Well, I lost the dressing room already, apologising. But it was more the fact in Saturday, I should be coming in delighted, buzzing with 1-6-0. And then I'm actually in there talking about standards and driving it through. And I think they're probably looking at me going, what are you on? You know what I mean? What's wrong? So I just went, you know what? Exactly. I took a wee reality check myself over the weekend, mate, gave myself a shake and came in and I just went, you know what? That the lows, look, last year we had some super lows, really bad ones, and I was like, and then right now we're on a wee bit of a high, so I'm going, look, you need to enjoy it while it's there. So I gave myself a shake, apologised to them, and then told them to take a picture of that because it's not going to happen again.
You mentioned there that it's getting you having a reality check, but in your defence, you just want to keep those standards, and by keeping those standards, you have to keep the boys in check as well because, well, you mentioned there about there being low moments last season. There will be low moments this season as well.
Look, Ed, I look too right. And look, the team talking going out on Saturday as well was like, I know we've won 8-0, but we're no world beaters. We'd won 1 game at that point. So you're going in again, I said that at the start, we've won 2 out of 4. That's no a record to write home about, you know, that way. So as far as we go, because of how it's went and the bounce back and the reaction and stuff like that, it's exactly what you've wanted. And look, I'll take a hit as well. Like between me and the staff, we spoke. Bellshill, we probably got the team rang as well with the selections and the wee changes. You make a gamble, and sometimes it doesn't pay out. And we've been talking about the squad depth we've got. You've seen that we make 5 changes, and then the lads go and react, and it's exactly what you want. And now it's nice and easy, isn't it? The team picks itself. So as long as the boys are fit and available, then they've got the jersey, and the rest need to go and do it. But it's driving training and stuff like that as well. You know, the standards are just automatically kicking on, and we've kind of picked up for how we finished last year. Because I think everybody knows that first half up until about Christmas was absolutely dire, and I know Johnny talks about it at times as well, and he's like, I'd love to see what he done there that period. We just went back. We just went back to basics.
Yeah,
Generally reset everything. Stopped complicating stuff. I think we'd let wee silly things like fines and stuff like that slip a wee bit, just like collectively. So we just reset all the standards and demanded stuff within boys, focused on fitness and stuff like that as well. Kept ourselves within games, and then at the back end, that fitness paid dividends to go and run our teams and score some late goals and things like that. So it was a wee bit of a reset. I think we all collectively had a chat with the boys and the staff, and we are going, right, if we're going to be here and do this, then we all need to get our fingers out. So and they know themselves. Look, I've got a quality group there. How we've managed to amass the squad and stuff like that. I'm not going to go all budgets and that, but the resources that we have is great and outstanding. So just a hard problem now keeping them all happy, isn't it?
That's the usual. Right, just PG messages there. He was like, "Who have you got on today?" And I said, Mark. I just assumed that he was going to know who I was talking about, right? And he goes, Mark who? So I suppose that's a good place for the people watching. Might know Mark Young. Mark, give us a wee insight to your background. I first spoke to you when you were in it B20s. That's as much as I know about Mark Young. Had a fairly successful B20s side. And then ended up being the Maryhill manager. Give us a wee insight to your football background, coaching background, wherever we started.
Playing wise, I think the only bit obviously worth talking a note. I played with Nielsen in a Prem back in the day for about 18 months, and then work commitments made me. I was working every second Saturday, so like,
Yeah.
you just kind of play at that level. So I stepped in and played with my pals at AMS and stuff. Then I actually moved to Germany through work for 4 years, so that kind of took me away from everything. I worked in a wee bit of just through community football, some youth football within there,
Yeah.
within the British setup, the wee element that was out there. Enjoyed that. My kids were involved in it, so that's why I get dragged into it as such. And then when I came back just pre-COVID, my brother was in it, Beith, obviously as a first team gaffer. So he actually originally asked me to come in and be the head of youth and build a pathway. And I was like, right, great, no bother at all. And at that time, but I wasn't able to commit to proper coaching or anything like that at all, because it's like I've just moved my family back over and we need to make sure that we're settled and stuff. So brought that in, and I actually got Chris Wilson in his Gifthook 2002's team. He came in and be the Beeve 20s all set up, ready to go, flying. And unfortunately, obviously, COVID hit, and then that took a wee
This
bit
is
of
Chris Wilson, that's the current Dorai manager, yeah.
the Dalry manager.
The one
Aye,
that
aye.
I made the mistake. I kept on calling Ross Wilson, Chris Wilson last week in the show.
Oh, no good, no good. Both crazy maniacs, but so fine.
Good guys.
Nah, good guys. And look, two guys that I talk to regularly, as I said, like times where last year when you were in your low moments, I was like they're two of the many managers that reached out and gave me a wee bit of a pep talk, that way. So like Jamie McKim and stuff like that as well. It looked really good, and that's probably the bit that you don't see behind the scenes, that although we want to beat each other in the park, there's a lot of us that talk after it. And when you're going through that wee hard spell, they give you that wee lift and they remind you that the players are scuddies, no you. So that's really the important bit.
Yeah.
But I taking it back, broke Chris in, and then he obviously got the Dorai job, and he took the majority of the 20s lads there. I think I was left with two players. Had to build a 20 squad up from scratch. I think 3 weeks before the season started. So aye, that was a bit of a graft. And look, we got lucky. Maybe fair. I think a couple of weeks in, we were competitive. A bit of help with the first team, giving us a few lads that I have now. To be fair, Jordan Duffy, Jordan Hood, wee Cal Wimry, that kind of thing. Lads who were eligible for 20s, who came in and stepped in and just allowed us to be no get battered. You know what I mean? So I think we got lucky. Played Maple, beat them. Then I think we drew with Arthur at that point, who were a really good team. Then Darvel folded, and then I managed to get a good bit of their lads and some of their staff and stuff like that. And we built up, like we built a really good squad. I think we won the conference, we won a cup, and we won. We get the semi final. The final. We get beat half Arfley. Actually, we Aaron Healy destroyed us in a game at Bonington at the end of the season. So, look, for me, successful on the basis that we had nothing a couple of weeks before and we managed. But again, that's luck. You know what I mean? Some of that
Yeah.
was luck getting through the draws. You don't get really big games early on, and you don't get that support for the first team. Then we struggle, and then you don't get that recruitment when the teams fold. You don't get the good quality boys in because they see you at the bottom of the league and they're like, I'm not interested. So you do have a wee bit of luck there as well as some hard graft. So that kind of got me in the youth bit, the success story for Breathe. I think the style of football that we try to play there within 20s, it get noticed, and actually Maryhill contacted me and asked me to come in for the job. I think Ross Wilson had just left to go to Bonington at that point, so there was a bit of a gap. And again, came in, got that role. I think there was two or three senior players left in the squad and two or three 20s for the year before. So full rebuild there. And look, I'm not the first guy to build a team or anything like that. There's people doing it all over the place. You can see it in our league. The new Lanark are doing it in the first division. Kilsyth
Yeah.
Athletic are doing it again in the second, and it's really hard. Look, I think Darvel last year had to try and rebuild a squad in the Prem, which it's a thankless task, that, isn't it? You're just so unforgiving. And I think we probably, again, you get that luxury in the second division to be able to get away with it. Built a team where we're competitive, and it was nice and close games, but young naive lads, and we were just losing some silly goals and stuff like that. But the goal at that point was just stabilise ourselves, keep us in the league. And I probably cheated a bit March time. I brought my brother in for the back end to just see us through. Again, look, budgets, you can't bring anybody in, so called in the favour card. And I'll be honest,
You brought Butch in.
I had to suck up a wee bit of personal pride because it was
Did he
like,
play?
he came and played. He'd
Amazing.
no long stopped, to be fair, because bear in mind at the back end of Beeve, he was playing there and stuff like that as well. And look,
That's
you know
right.
the levels that he's got. So that, and as I said, I'll be honest, and I said that to him. I says I didn't want to. I wanted to go and stand on my own 2 feet and do all that and blah blah blah. And I was going, actually, who am I hurting? Who am I hurting here? I've got a great asset that I can use. And as much as it'd be a nightmare to try and manage in the dressing room, I was like, but let him actually come in and do his thing, and he did. It was like having a manager on the park. You know what we just
Aye.
organised the boys, stabilised us, seen us through, go to safe, and then he bolted. And then that was it. Look, in the interest, as I said, he done it for me. I should have signed him again and then sold him to somebody and made a bit of cash.
I love that. I love that. Out of curiosity, what is he doing? Is I take it he's just chilling?
He was coaching his son's team. His son's an 09, so he
Right,
was
okay.
taking that. But I think the team's just folded this year, so he'll be looking at where he goes, and I imagine wherever he ends up next, he'll be back in. Saying that, him and my nephew were training in Monday night with, so that was
But
that was
fancy
decent.
playing some amateurs, mate.
So mate, that's it. I think he gets the calls for 35s and all
Oh, I bet he
sorts.
does.
Also,
Bet he does.
his heat's there, but his legs are gone. He still get the same banter.
But see, to be fair, sometimes as long as if the legs are gone, it's not a big issue. You can place him, in a position in the field that he's not going to have to do an awful lot of work. But if
Well,
he's
that's
got
it.
the head and he's got the banter, then that's half the battle.
No, mate, like that was it. It was great. He just galvanises in the dressing room, gives that wee bit of banter, and then
Aye,
set standards and stuff like that in training as well, and demand it. And I will say, look, the boys just buzzed right off it. And the same, even when he pops in now and again, he done a wee bit of a pre-season here and there when he's got testimonials. I think he had Arnie's this year and he had
that's right.
Jordan
Aye.
Longmuir's last year, so he came in and done a wee bit of pre-season. Because I'm saying to him, look, you're not going to in front of all the people playing with current players and no having your touch and a wee bit of fitness in. So he came in and done that, and that's it. The boys are just like, on, just sign. But aye, thankfully that was enough, mate. Because managing him probably for a whole year would be it'd be fun but brutal at the same time.
I've never seen brothers divorced. It may have happened. Right. What does 25, 26 look like for Maryhill, for you, your staff, your players? What's the end game for you? What would be deemed success?
Well, I think anybody that comes on and says success, getting in the top 8 is anything outside of that is pretty no acceptable, isn't it? And
Yeah.
look, I know we all can't finish in the top 8, but the desire has always been every year, and every manager will say the same. They want to go and be competitive and take it. Now, the brutalness of it for me and my mentality, I go, if you don't win the league, really the rest of it is pretty much meh,
Yeah.
because you're sitting there. Like second and third was always great. You picked it up, but now you're anywhere between second and eighth. It takes the sting out of a wee touch, I would say. But it
I get
also means that we were in the back end of it last year where we were playing games you couldn't go up and you couldn't go down, and then they weren't meaningless games because you've always still got the standards. But they kind of some games just fizzled out, and you were trying stuff or whatever in prep for next year. That won't happen this year because there'll be teams scraping and fighting for every single point. So I'll be honest and put it out there. Then I said that to the lads at the start. For me, it's you need to try and win the title. I was like, that's why you're here, and what the desire is. And look, and I think Josh was. I think they were arguing where they were talking about aiming for the moon and hitting, or aiming for the stars and hitting the moon and all of that nonsense during the week. I was like, so for me, that's it. Your goal has to go and be win the league, and your backup is as a bare minimum. You get your promotion in the top spot, and then it's within the top 8, and you go and take it. And reality is, look, it's more than achievable. The last 2 years, that's what we've done, but. It is, look, it's competitive. You can see that in every division is, and then it's going to get even harder next year as you go up. And if you did go up, you're in the first. With some quality teams, and then a whole load of teams within the second that go up too. So what happens in the restructure? I'm glad in the fact that we're trying to get our ways forward. I'm not going to get in the ins and outs of whether the new structure is good or bad
May
or
not have a choice
anything like
about
that
that,
at all.
mate, because that's my next question.
Look, look at it. That's it, and it's no kind of getting forced in us. But I like it. Anything that kind of progresses it naturally. But like all the other guys have said, it has to be sporting merit, doesn't it? Because,
Aye.
or at least now you've had a year to prep, so people can go and try and get a license and stuff like that, and,
Yeah.
and get ready. And actually, I think to be fair, Maryhill, we're no far away from stuff like that. But you're talking, you get closer to that truth when you're closer to actually meeting it. I was like, for me,
Aye.
it's more about we've worked on stabilising the club, getting more roots back into the community, increasing the fan base, getting more youth structure back in. So we brought John Sutton and his community team in through our pathway to try and get us that steady increment into 20s. Just last night, we've brought in Hamden 08s.
Yeah.
So looking really good. And look, they had a lot of suitors. As I said, look, they've won trebles, doubles, and I think everything but the Scottish Cup. So some really quality players there. And for me, that's a godsend to be able to bring that in and bring those quality lads in. So that's the drive that we're in there. And you can talk about trying to get funding to upgrade whatever pitches, Astros, all of that. That's the super dream. So you're going. That's the big picture. Short term is just focusing now on the first team and doing more business. We don't have the 20s, unfortunately, this year. Again, kind of like the Chris Wilson situation. I brought the 20s guys in, and look, they got an offer to go and take a BSc job. So,
Yeah.
like, fair play to them. And we made that deal work. And look, we just took the hit for the 20s. And at that point, it was too late to try and bring anybody in. And I won't have a 20s just for the sake of having a 20s. I was like, it's
No,
only
needs
going
to
to
be
be
right,
there.
mate. Because
Uh,
if you're not doing it right, then you're just, it becomes a tick box exercise. You know what I mean? You're not doing it for the right reasons.
Definitely looking, mate, and because of the background that we've had before, and I probably got lucky that the way it was set up at Beeve, obviously my brother being a first team manager, he was there most Friday nights and watching all the games, so he was able to see the lads, and you can see where it works, where they were getting taken into training and they were getting their opportunity and stuff like that. But look, the reality is a jump from 20s to Prem is massive. We probably get away with it a wee bit more in the second division, so. And so far, the last 4 games, my starting goalie's been up for the 20s. We've got Mario, who started the 4 games at centre back, who's a 2006. So last year, I think we had a 2008 playing the last 8 games in the middle of the park for us. So we've got a bit of a record of giving youth a chance. So, but at the same time, they still need to be good enough. So it's not just a give lads a shot and put them in just to show, oh,
Again,
look at
another
the
tick
pathway and look at our youth. The
Yeah.
lads still need to have the quality. And look, you can look at all the programmes that are out there. The reality is, look, everybody talks about the Thorn. The Thorn are probably the best at it because they've had a really great 06s team that was able to come up and embed it in, and then their whole community pathway. So, look, they've done it for the right area. So all you can do is probably learn lessons for them, your own environment within there, and try and mirror it and do the same. So that's the bigger club bit, because I think the committee will say it wasn't long ago that Maryhill could have potentially been no more. They were out there with the funding requests and stuff like that, and shaking the bucket. So it's good that we've now got that wee bit of stability, and look, I try and kick it on, and I always demand more. And like, the guys would give me a shot off their back, to be fair. And that's the thing. This year again, we've invested a wee bit in the park. So again, we're talking about playing styles. So you're just trying to get that park a bit better quality and stuff like that
Yeah.
for us as well. So any spare cash that they get, that's what they're going. Oh, I want to give you and your transfer fund and stuff like that as well. And I'm going, look, I'd rather it be in there. I'm happy, like, with the squad and stuff like that. And the reality is, if I go and try and buy a player, I can't hit them with the wages that they're probably
Yeah.
demanding and looking for now in this game. So I'm like, just give me a better playing surface, better environment, and I was like, and I'll sell the dream to boys that way, that way.
Yeah. I suppose we go and look at the fixtures now, mate. Listen, you've kicked on well the last couple of games. You said it's by no means perfect. It's 2 for 4, but lots of positives to take for you, mate. We wish you obviously all the best for the the rest of the campaign. Right, we're going to do something a bit unorthodox now. We're going to start at the 4th division. I mentioned last week in the show that we probably don't spend as much time on the 3rd and 4th as we do maybe on the Prem and the 1st division and the 2nd in between that. So we'll kick off with the 4th division. So the 4th division fixtures, Mark, are BSC Glasgow, Giffnock, Campbelltown Pupils, EKYM, Culloch Rovers, St Peters, East Kilbride, Thistle, West Park, Rossvale, Royal Albert, Saltcoats Victoria, Newmains, and Wishaw Vale of Leithen. What's your game of the day in that? I'll put you on the spot. You look at that. What would you say is the game of the day?
Do you know what? Actually, looking at St Peter's Cup game last weekend, where they've ran Cumbernauld really close. I think between them and Culloch Rovers have had a great start. I think that'll be quite interesting. You look
Yeah,
at
that was my game of the day, mate.
yours as well, mate.
That was
You,
right.
look at the bodies you've got in. Look, I know Kenny and St Peter's well, and we try and loan out some players and stuff like that there, and we've got a decent relationship, and I know the guys as well at Culloch. I think the bodies they've been able to bring in this year is crazy, and I think. Look, I'm probably calling them out, but I think they could potentially run away with that 4th division with the quality they've got in there. Gary Stewart, Nicky Prentice, and stuff like that coming through Coolside Rangers is outstanding bit of business, and that kind of experience. I think we'll just see them really well. So that'll be a toughie. But I think, like Kenny's been saying, he's had a bit of issues with boys on leave and holidays and stuff like that. And like it's the same. And I can't remember who I was talking to during the week there, but I'm just saying the mentality is just not the same anymore with lads. You know that way that with
Oh, no,
holidays, not that. And
I
like you'll not know that themselves. That football used to come first for everybody, and then now it's not quite the same importance that it has for everybody. But look, when you've got there, I think he's got a bit of that squad back, and that shows with running a quality team like Cumbernauld close to the wire. And I think
yeah.
it was a late goal as well that they lost to get beat. So you're sitting there going, like, I expect them to go and kick on.
BSC. You mentioned just there. You said that it was there. It's a guy McColgan, isn't it? It's managing.
Barry.
Barry McColgan. He added me on Facebook. I wasn't familiar with him. And he said to us, it was quite nice. He's like going to do me a wee favour, keep a wee eye on BSC Glasgow this year, and maybe mention us a few times because I think we might do quite well. It's been a bit of an indifferent start for them, isn't it? And it's going to be another tough test with Giffnock visiting them on Saturday afternoon.
Too right, and JD will have a good team as well, as he always does. He always manages to pull it out of the bag, and like you said, look, Barry's going there with a good bit of a large youthful squad. So as good as you get a lot of energy with youth. What you do get is some inconsistency, unfortunately. So you get them showing up really good. Or sometimes they're miles off it, and that's kind of the battle that you need to take with young lads, but. No better place for them, I suppose, to go and cut their teeth into and get exposure. And we talk about it all the time. There's a lot of lads that are worried about the level that they're playing at, and I was like, well, actually, the most important thing is actually playing, going in there, getting 30 games under your belt, and getting exposure into the level, and then you maybe get teams coming in and going, I'll take a shot at you, and then getting that, being sought after rather than coming in and going. Giza, and I'm sitting whatever in the 2nd division team and I'm on the bench all the time. I was like, it's so important to find the balance. So he'll see that and I think I saw on socials a lad for there get booked for celebrating with his mom in the crowd or something like that.
Oh really? It's not often I miss something like that. I'd have been glad.
Scored a goal, ran there, and I think cuddled his mum, and I think he get booked. I don't know if that's the full story, but I celebrated with his mom after a goal and get booked.
I was on media duties last night with Cumbernauld Colts. We were away to Bonnyrigg Rose, but the game was played at Whitehill Welfare. By the way, what a trek! An hour and 40 minutes took me to get there. Right, but I thought John's interview is not out yet. I've not put it out, but I thought I agreed with John. I thought in large spells of that game we were the better team. They came out with our Solstead in the second half and probably with a better team then. But I still don't know what happened, right? But something happened in our the 18-yard box we were attacking, and Abraham Osameke, who we just signed, got a yellow card. Now, that was controversial for me, even getting the yellow card, because we weren't too sure what had happened. I could only assume dissent. And then we seen him kind of give the thumbs up to the referee, and I think the referees maybe took it as a sarcastic thumbs up, as in oh, cheers, referee, for that yellow card. Cheers, mate. And he's yellow carded him again.
And he's off? Jeez.
And he's off. So he's got 2 yellow cards in 18 seconds. And I was just like, wow. And listen, I've no spoke to John, and maybe there was more said, so it's maybe a bit unfair, because we just know you can't be sarcastic or wide or get in referees' faces and things like that with the sort of verbals and the dissent sort of stuff. But I just think that sometimes referees maybe need to just take a step back and realise that football's an emotional game, and sometimes you're going to say something that you wouldn't say in real life, or maybe be sarcastic. But it doesn't really deserve a yellow card. But certainly running into the crowd and cuddling your mum in a moment that you've scored, that's the blaze of glory. You're not going to for that, surely, you know.
I get it. And looking, it's a controversial topic you talk about with refs, and I think there's never a dull moment in it. And I agree with you, it is emotional. I'm quite a calm, relaxed guy, and then times at the side of the park you can get quite riled up. Even I think no matter what the score is, it doesn't matter. You're still there to shouting it. And I think the last couple of weeks the staff have been saying that to me. You all right? Whatever. Or 4-0 up, and you're going mental. And I was like, it's just specifics that can happen. And like you say, I think there used to be a bit of give and go. You used to be able to have a wee bit of banter and stuff like that with them. All right, you can step out of line, but I think they used to be able to understand it. Well, now it's kind of zero tolerance, isn't it? Where they crack down and annoy it immediately. So look, like players, we have bad days. Refs will have bad days, and they're just a bit. It seems like you can't talk to them, which is
it definitely is a bit different now,
which
mate.
is a bit of a shame.
East Kilbride YM making the dreaded trip to Kintyre Park in Campbelltown. I expect East Kilbride will go up there and win that, but I always think to myself, what sort of mental traits the players have with that travel? Are they thinking about the travel back because they know they're going to get a beer?
I would say it's all the boys talk about as an away trip. So look, the same. We've got 3 this year, which will be a bus trip, and the boys are already looking forward to it to get together. So I think it is really, really important. And look, Campbelltown are usually pretty decent at home, and I think they struggle a wee bit to get a squad to travel, I believe. But
they do.
I expect it. I think they get a bit of doing at the weekend as well. So I expect EK to probably go and kick on. Actually, for the facilities and stuff like that, for me, they're the kind of level of the team that you're looking to bring in, and that's the big questions it brings for next year. Who's going to come into the fourth to build that back up? But for me, definitely teams like them with the establishment they've got, the credit and the name they've got within the amateur game.
Yeah.
I actually expect, and look, there's still time. I mean, it's early. I expected them to be doing better. Just no reason or rhyme for it. Just on their name alone, I expected them to be.
I think most of the pyramid promotion panel predicted East Kilbride would be, East Kilbride YM, because there is 2 East Kilbrides in that league. Would be there or thereabouts for the title. I noticed they obviously their captain. I think I don't know if it's been announced or anything yet. I'd heard through the grapevine that the captain was going back to East Kilbride Thistle. He's obviously leaving, but they've signed. I think they've signed really well. East Kilbride YM. My amateur team played up there last year, and we bought safe pyro. So we did, the safe stuff that doesn't set pitches alight and stuff like that, and we won the league on the last day of the season on goal difference, and my boys pulled the pyro out. Had a great day celebrating. had a great night celebrating in Wonder Bar and various other establishments that night, and woke up to an email on Monday morning telling us we've been packed off the park and not to return again. I couldn't believe it. And all we were sent a picture of a flare, but it was safe pyro. It wasn't going to do anything to the picture or anything like that. You know what I mean? And we actually never seen the sign that said no pyro. Right? I can't control everything as a manager, but just like I'm gutted because the facilities they're second to none.
Mate, outstanding. I think you've seen pictures of the dressing room and stuff like that. They mirror Man City at times, don't they, with the quality they've got. So you're talking about environment and stuff. For me, that has to attract players to just go, particularly at that level as well. And look, as I said, there's plenty of time for them, and I think they'll go and kick on. Maybe that's a wee bit underestimating the collective quality of the fourth division, where you're just expecting somebody to come in and do really well. Maybe they've been taken aback a bit with the standard that's there as well. So
Wish I'll take on Bailey leaving as well, right? I before the prediction show, I had a lot going on and I hadn't really did as much research and digging as I probably should have. But I heard through the grapevine that Wishaw were going to be looking decent, and I kind of just backed them. And then the three other boys looked at me as if I was like so stupid. Looking at their results, I understand why. Is it going to be a tough season for Wishaw, Marky?
This year, look, I don't think so. I think they've. I would agree with your initial sentiment. Look, they were second division not that long ago, and look, I know they've had a few wee hard bits, but that's managerial changes and squad changes and stuff like that, and that can easily be done. I think you've got Neely and that have went in there and they've stabilised it. They've got again some good background guys in the committee with connections and stuff. I think they'll be all right to come in. I think they'll be comfortably in that top 8 spot as well. So they've just signed. I'm sure they just signed Jarvis, didn't they? Chris Jarvis.
Oh, I'm not too sure, mate.
Or Jarvis, maybe the Jarvis rather than Jarvis. I'm getting confused with my old player.
Jarvis, the boy, Kirky Roy. Is it a different Jarvis you're talking about? The boy that
used to play with New Mains, the striker.
Oh,
I'm sure
I think
the veteran. And I think he's went in and he's banged in a couple of goals. So I'm sure they'll be. For me, I'm sure they'll be all right and they'll be up there in the mix. They're doing things the right way and they're trying to rebuild the team. I think, and again, but look, Vela leaving, really good squad as well. And I think they lost one of their best players last year to the Borough. In fact, two. I think the keeper, the sub keeper, went there as well, and the big centre back. So, but it doesn't look as if it's derailed them much, and they'll go and kick on. In fact, was it the Vale that battered Campbelltown last week?
Aye.
So again, they'll be buzzing after that.
Aye, definitely. Right, let's jump into the third division. We can't go through every fixture, mate. It's just not possible. Glasgow Uni take on St Anthony's at the Albert Bartlett Stadium on Friday night. Ardea take on Glasgow Perthshire. Back into Saturday fixtures. Girvan host Lugar Boswell. Glasgow United take on Dalry. Glenvale host the Port. Keller Rovers are at home to Easter House. And Knightswood playing their games out of Kirkintorp Sports Complex this year. They're at home to Finnart. Pick of the bunch for you in that one?
Mate, this one's actually pretty tough. I think for me it's between 3. Glasgow United, Dalry, Glenvale, Port and Knightswood, Finnart.
I went Glenvale, Port.
Glenvale, Port, did you? Look, I think, again, based on Glenvale's great result against Glenafton.
The 400 penalties were taken.
400 penalties, aye. You don't normally get that many scored, but I think they were leading as well within the game for long periods. But it's a big hard ass to go and play the Port. They've got 3-4 goals regularly each week they're scoring. Yeah. So I think if they minimise the goals at the intake, then they might just have enough to go and do it. But look, you need to give credit to Lewis and what he's done with Glenvale for where they've came to continuously be competitive. The reason I actually thought, mate, I don't mean shock surprised, but I've been really surprised with Chris's start for Dalry. I think they've been flying. And other than the wee slip up, I think to Yoker, they've done really well, and he'll be delighted with the start there. But he's up against Glasgow United, with pulled some great names for the for the archives to come back and play. So, but again, I think Glasgow United are one of the teams that it depends what team shows up. They can be
Aye.
really good and go and hurt you, or they can have an off day. So, and again, Dalry off the back end there are so close to a cup shock. I mean, to Trinent, and I think they ran them 3-2. I think it was, so really close, but. I think probably edge it overall the game. I would say the Knightswood Fanart for me, mate. We played Fanart and Knightswood in friendlies in pre-season, and both were really good. And I'll give them a shout out. Knightswood were particularly very good with the way that they played and the style and stuff like that as well, and ran as close. And I expect them to go and kick on again. And again, Danny's had a wee bit of rebuild at Fanart, but he's got some quality there. So as soon as they get settled, and he's grafting, he's busy as, and he's somebody that I talk to on a regular basis. So
Yeah.
I think that'll be a really good game if he can show up and watch Knightswood's movement and rotations. Then they'll definitely compete. So for me, like that's the three, the pick of the bunch. I think it's hard to call any of them, but probably Knightswood Fanart for the neutral to probably go and watch. I think that'll be a really decent game.
I want to talk about Sean Kenny's Ardere Thistle. Much was said in our show that Ardere Thistle would be either A, the winners, or B, be there or thereabouts, but they've had a right tough start, haven't they? They've had a right tough start.
Look, do you know the crazy bit? See, when you look at them and you look at a lot of teams that done really well at pre-season, haven't seemed to kick off the season the way that you would have probably expected. So,
Aye.
look, I know you daylighted I think we're calling these pundits, right? So we'll call these pundits. So as the pundits, and look, you need to make that call based on the form that you've seen, the recruitment that's in there. You obviously can't go and watch every game. You don't know what's happening at training, so you make a lot of assumptions. And I'd be right there with you. I think the results that they were getting in pre-season, they were looking really good. And look, they've got talent there. Look again, look what they played 5, 1-2, drew 1, lost 2. So it's not the worst start. And
A similar record to yourselves, isn't it? Really?
I definitely. And look, I fully expect them to go and go and kick on again. And look, and we were talking earlier on about managers that reach out. Sean's another one that done that. You know what I mean? And a really selfless guy as well, and all the stuff that he's done there. He's been at Ardere for forever, too. And the details he puts through. So again, a guy with limited resources and the quality they managed to find in there. I think his hard bit will be probably trying to keep them. I think, is it?
Aye.
I might get it wrong. Cairo, is it? Is that
Aye,
his
boy,
name?
Cairo Crawford is
Oh,
an absolute
he's scoring all the goals
Scotland.
from them there now, so
Yeah.
you can see that. Something actually I was noticing. There's not a lot of the stats on the West website, and I was actually asking my committee that. We used to get the player stats and the goals and stuff like that, and you'd be able to see it on. That hasn't been on, but as I'd said that, they then started posting the top 10 goal scorers and stuff like that was on there. So it's
I think
definitely
they kind of wait until maybe some games have been played, like the last 5 or 6 games, to allow that to be actual data there. Do you know what I mean? You don't
they
want to
come in. Aye, I'm just nosy, mate. I'm busy. I want to see who's where and what's
I
going
think
on.
you don't want to put any players on the transfer market, but I'm 100% sure Sean will be very, very, wary of that. And I sometimes think it's a bit of lazy scouting sometimes, and I know teams do it because they don't have they don't have the resources to go out and watch teams all the time. I know my Chrissy Callahan, who played with me last year, is went to Kilsyth Athletic with Asa, because Asa plays with my amateur team, but we had people messaging, oh, what's Chrissy like? Do you know what, mate? Come up and watch him.
Yep.
It's almost getting like you're getting maybe people that are in behind the scenes for 3rd and 4th division clubs, and I get it. Listen, that we all aspire to try and have the best team possible, but rather than phoning a manager and going, "What's he like?" just come and take a wee look at him. You know, he scored 46 goals last year. He's a cracking player. That's as much as I can tell you. But you need to come and make that judgment call, you know. And I think a lot of teams are going down that route now, aren't they?
Oh, it's easy to go and see the goals, and looking if you went with that, you'd probably look at it and go, Irvin Vicks, Kevin Adams going all the time, multiple for
Anyway,
forever.
Kevin's an enigma, man. Like you see, Kevin will score you goals at that level all day, every day.
And look, and then that's it. And you're going, like, I don't know if that's a bit of loyalty just to the Vix that he stays there or whatever, because I don't know the ins and outs of it. But like you said, I think that's what happens. People go and take it. Like he could have done the same with us in the second division last year. Just look at Big Carlos banging in so many goals, and obviously he stayed at Cambuslang, and I believe he had a couple of suitors. And then that's it. I think. The higher, I would expect probably the four, the Prem and stuff like that. To a lot of them who will have scout networks and that they'll actually go and look at lads, and depending on relationships with managers, I get a lot of inquiries over the summer asking about boys within the second division and stuff like that, and what I thought of them, and obviously if they're playing with rival teams that are going to compete with you, I tell them all that they're great. I take them and weaken all the other teams that we play against. No, but genuinely, you say that. So that happens. I think you do. You need to be creative at times within your network. But you do. They just look at data sometimes and go, "If he scores goals, take him." That doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to fit with your playing style or how
Of
the team
course,
work are in.
What's your? Are you going for an Aldeer win? I think Aldeer will have too much for Perthshire personally.
But I don't Perthshire started well, but I think it takes a bit. Again, another teams are awful enigmas within there. I think they'll pick up and look. It's a big derby for us as well, so I don't want to overly say anything bad about them. But I think they struggled a wee bit at the start, and then I think they won last week, did they?
Aye, they did, mate. I think there's very similar to Glasgow United. I think there's quite a lot of things going on behind the scenes and stuff like that. Whether I've heard bits and bobs, whether they're true or not.
But they've lost. I think they lost a couple of players last year that were probably key for them, and then again they probably rely on the area for lads to come in, and if you don't have that, then I losing one or two really good players can really dent you if you're not able to replace it. I don't think they've ever really had a 20 structure or anything like that either, so they've not even got that really pathway to drop back into. So. But I look at always a really hard place to go to, and I think they always had the boy Lino that was able to throw it a mile, which is always a danger. So you never know. But look, at home at RD, I'd put my neck in the line and gee Sean the 3 points there. I think they'll probably go and take.
Do you want to hear a wee story about Lino? Well, people call him Lino, but he told me to call him Messi, right? So as you know, I live in Barhead. And about 2019, just before COVID, I was going up for my Sunday fish supper at the local fish shop, and Linos was there, and it was just weird because I had my football gear on. I'd been out at my amateur game, and he started talking to me in broken English. His English wasn't very good back then, and he said to me, "You play football?" And I said, "Do I look like I play football?" Right? And he said, he goes, "Yes, but you can't eat fatty food," right? It was just weird. He went, "Do you manage?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I manage an amateur team." He said, "Can I play?" I said, "Aye." So he gave me his number. So he did, and the rest is history. He played for my amateur team for 3 years, and he got a move to another team alongside a couple of other players. It was Perthshire at the time, and it's so strange looking back now. Listen, he's had offers to go to a higher level. The problem with Linos is he doesn't drive, and he still has a bit of that broken English, even though it's a lot better now. I think he wouldn't ask for for a lift off of somebody. So I'd heard Irvin Meadow were looking at him. I've not even asked Jamie. I meant to ask him when I had him on last week whether that was true or not. But by the way, he's a right good player, isn't he?
I look at pacey and quite tricky and stuff like that with the ball, and then
Yeah.
like that cannon throw,
They play him
particularly.
centre mid. They play him centre mid at Perthshire. I played him as a wing back, or
I
if I
think the last like, it's been a while since we played them, but when last time we played them, he played in the wide areas, and
yeah,
he was a real threat. To be fair to him, but it was like, for me, it was always his throw that we were Adam a bit, and it was a bit like the Alamo where it kept coming in, and they big physical players, and like they had lads
yeah.
like Jack Crumlish and stuff like that who are a right good baller.
Jack's away playing amateur again, mate.
He is, he's away dropped in, and that's it. But you're talking about losing that kind of quality. You can't replace that standard of player very easily. So, they'll feel that pain.
The last one for me that we talk about, Kello Rovers Easterhouse. Easterhouse again were tipped to be kind of up there by the boys, but again not being a. I'm just going to. I'll click on them just so I can make sure that I'm actually getting the results right here. So, 1-2, lost 3, but a great 3-2 win at Thrieve.
Yeah.
Last week probably bodes well because Threeve's a tough game for any team to play. So, give me your thoughts on Keller Rovers Easterhouse. What do you think score there will
Well,
be?
well, look, what again? You're talking about Easterhouse and you're expecting them to be up there. You're looking at the run as well. So they had the Port, tough game. They had Yoker, who I'll just say it, I think surprised everybody with a wee bit of their start and the damage, and then they took a wee dip, and then they've kicked on again with a good cup win against the Bens at the weekend.
Yeah.
Then they've had Glenville, a really tight game. The Uni, who have been off to a absolute flyer, but again, it just Uni team. It depends what team you get, doesn't it? Now that
Aye.
the semester started, they'll get a wee bit of strength, and it's not like them to start so strongly. And then to go and play a team like Thrieve and take the win, mate, that has to give you a lift because they're right quality and a good footballing team as well. So they go and
Aye.
take on. But again, Kello are coming back. I can see they're a win off Hutchie Vale. So you're going, look, it'll be
Kettle will
tight.
get beat often at home.
You're going,
So I mean,
I'll sit in the fence,
the,
mate, and get splinters and call that a draw.
well, I'm not going to sit in the fence. I think that will be. I think that will be a Kello win. It'll be a closely fought game, but I think Kello at home's just they're a different animal. And given their promotion for last season, they can play with a bit of freedom and not being in that sort of higher division. And listen, nobody likes going to Kello. I remember when I was with Ashfield, it was just an absolute. It was a horrible game. I've still got a video of Dak absolutely doing his badging when he came out for the ball to go and kick it, and he's missed it. And I've actually
It's not like him, he missed the ball.
Wait, I know I've got a wee bit of audio over the back of it, and it goes, "What's the goalie doing, Tom?" But I've never ever put it online because I'm not that type of guy. Second division, Marky, Ashfield take on Greenock, Blantyre, Thorn, Bonington Thistle, Cali Locos, Kilsyth Athletic at home to Maybole. Yourself, user at Duncansfield against Kilsyth Rangers. Larkhall taking on Bells Hill, Lesmahago, Forth Wanderers, and Thrieve have Canby Rangers visit them. The best place to start is game of the day. That's why we brought you on, Kilsyth Rangers, Maryhill. That's how's the prep gone for that, mate?
Look, as I said, mood in the camp's really good. We've a decent session on Monday there, and we've actually got a friendly against Vela Clyde as well during the week. So that's, for me, really ideal. The issue with that is, because the team's picking itself, it's Scheme Boys on the sidelines, a wee opportunity to get their foot in the door and stuff like that as well. Look, a couple of holidays and things like that coming up then, and picking up a few injuries, some forced rotations are in there, so you need to give lads minutes in. I wouldn't say that's fixture of the week within the division.
It's because we've got you on, but
It's cause I'm on.
day.
Aye, just being honest. And look,
What's your interesting one there then?
I'm delighted to go to Kilsyth. It's a great place to go and play, mate. It's a great
Aye.
park. And I think, again, they're in a full change of a squad and stuff like that as well. So I don't, homework wise, I don't know a lot about them. If I'm truthfully honest, even though
Too
we've
early on in the season,
played them for so long. Aye, it's a whole load of squad, and it's gaffers for the east, isn't it? So Aye, for me, between Blantyre, Thorn, and Threave Canby, I think they're probably the two big games.
Let's talk about them then, Thorn. With the potential to go back to back to back. And I know they do. By the way, they actually go about their business very quietly. They don't. They're no. I obviously did a wee bit of work for them social media wise. They've managed to get a bit of funding for that now and have brought somebody in to do it sort of part time, which is really good. But by the way, no disrespect to Blantyre, but the KG Stadium's a horrible place to go and play football.
Look, it's actually know somewhere that I've been, but I spoke to a few lads I know at Canby that went there, and they weren't overly complimentary of it. So look, that might hamper Thorn. They like a good ball playing surface to go into. And like I said, the way they go about their business is excellent. From the first team playing squad to the pathway to the behind the scenes stuff. Mark McGee works like an absolute trooper. And look, and I know he's not a one man band, and there's loads of others that do it, but the effort and the way that they're going now is insane.
Mark's an absolute stalwart at Thorn.
It's made every club needs somebody like that. Don't they? And look, we all have our version to an extent that are in there because look, they're all volunteers. But I then flipping it back to Blantyre. Look, Ross has strengthened his squad really well. Look, they looked deed and buried against Cambuslang and came back and nicked it a couple of weeks ago. And you've got some real experience in there. The boy Daw that I think maybe everybody thought was potentially finished after his time at the Rock has come in and shown that he's still got goals in him.
Kieran went and played for his brother's amateur team in my league for a wee bit.
For a wee bit to go in, so not to be rude. And normally when you're at that stage, you're like you don't. It's hard to find that momentum. You go and kick yourself back on again. But
the wee man has kicked on.
He has, mate. And he's obviously, I think he's scored most games for them, and look, they've got goal threats in there. So I think that'll be a really good game, and maybe a different game for the Thorn, probably a wee bit more physical. And then
they might have to be a bit more ready for battle. And that you mentioned the Threave Canby game. I think I say it time and time again. Threave are a little bit like Campbelltown. They don't travel brilliantly. But to go to Meadow Park and get a result is very, very difficult to do. I've been down there twice for teams and not won. In actual fact, I was there with St Cadoc's a couple of years ago, and Threave were by far the better team. It's a wee bit of an enigma, aren't they? I think that's going to be a difficult one. I'll go with Threave on that. I think Threave will win by maybe a couple.
All right, okay. I'd look fair play to you. I think it will be tight. I don't know if a couple will be between it. I think a goal will edge it either way. Again, Canby, for what I know about them, real threat, really good starting squad. I think it's
you mentioned the boy Carlos.
Yeah.
Was he you on loan?
No. We obviously just played against them last year.
He's the top goal scorer in the league, you know.
A wee bit of handful. What's he got? 9 and 5 or something like that. So great. And look, we two of my players for last year went there. Sean Roberts, centre back, and Daz Jarvis, winger, centre mid. Anywhere you need them, to be fair. And even in the Daz has started tremendously for Canby. And has done really well, and I think the quality that he can deliver is shown because he's probably, I think he's got loads of assists because Carlos is just turning his terrible balls into goals. And I'll say that as a jest to him, but no, probably have the quality of Carlos. And I think it's clear. I think Carlos could go and play at a higher level. I think Pollock and stuff like that were after him. I believe so in the summer. So for them to go and do it, I think they can hurt people. I think, as I said, it's their depth. I think that's their problem, and I think that's what hurt them against Blantyre is they had to rotate a couple of bodies, and then Blantyre just became maybe a wee bit too strong at the end and scored at the right times. You know, that way, like 3-1, you're going right, fine, we're sound. You let in a wee loose goal, 3-2, and then before you know it, that windfall comes in. So I think it depends. They've got the ability to go and hurt teams, but like you said, Threave on that ball and greenier surface that they've got there. I think they might just edge it. I'll take a draw, mate, personally. So they both drop points, but I'll agree with you. I think Threave might take it, but I think it'll be by a goal. if I had to put a bet on.
Aye, first division. I struggling Benburb taking on Cumbernauld and New Tinto, Gartcairn, Thornywood, Kilbirnie Lakeside, Kirky Rob Roy, Muirkirk, Neilston, Petershill, Lanark, St Nort's Whitlets, and Valley Clyde Darvel. For the simple reason being that the two of them, ran each other the whole way in the second division last year. I'm going for Muirkirk Neilston as the game of the day, and there Gartcairn Thornywood will probably be a right good game as well.
That was mine, mate. I think Gartcairn Thornywood, the way that the two of them have started, I think that'll be a good clash, and I think gaffers across that league will be keeping a good eye on the result of what happens there. Again, everybody's probably outside of that game looking for a draw. You're looking for the two teams to go and take points off each other, but I think that'll be a great game. Look, totally get it. Muirkirk as well, coming off a decent draw away to Darvel as well. And Neilson have surprised me as well, the way that they've went and kicked on in that first division, and been really competitive. I think Thornleywood is maybe the only team to have beat them. Maybe another, but I'm not 100% on that. But I'm going. They've done really well. Really good pre-season as well for them. So look, my ex-captain's there as well. So I talk to him weekly about how they're getting on and stuff like that as well. And it's a team that again, cause of him, I keep an eye out. We see how they're getting on. So it will be a great one. And look, Ross has done outstanding for Muirkirk to then again go and kick on and compete in that division. So look, I would hate to try and call any any result within that. I think we say this every year that the first division is scary. People just
It's
people
the
just
most
take points.
competitive. It's the most competitive league in Scotland, and I think it has been for a considerable amount of time. I don't want to. I'm not a controversial sort of guy. Well, I don't think I am anyway. But I think it's probably a testament to such a good job that he's done that Ross has been linked with that company, that vacant Benburb job. It wouldn't be. He's been in the club before.
I was going to say he came for there, didn't he? For that, that's
he
what
had that successful under 20s. Is that if that was an appointment Benburb were to make? Is it too early in Ross's career for that, or is it? Would it be a testament to how good a job he's done at Muirkirk?
Well, mate, look, I think you would need to know more about the inner workings of Benburb and what you're talking the current playing squad. I don't know
I believe Paul Overnans went back into steady
the ship.
That's
So
an
you're
active thing.
just collectively looking at it, you're going, what's the budget? What's the resources? Obviously, Ross has been able to do what he's been able to do with probably, you would imagine, a less resource at Muirkirk, an absolute trek away as well. I don't think he trains down there. I think he trains up here. Locally. So you would go look fine. You can't. For me, I don't think you can go all time. Is it too early or anything like that at all? I think it depends on the appetite of the club as well. We're going like you've taken a bit of a gamble on the bigger names, and I think there's a lot of teams higher up that have taken bigger names, and then maybe it's no work to it. So I think it depends on who comes in with a strong structure plan of the approach and what they're going to do. But even saying that, what Benburb beat, was it Whitlets that beat 6-1? I'm sure it was.
Just the other. That. Maybe I'd have to go back and look. But listen, it's been no slight. Benburb,
look, they've been getting. Look, they beat half the Meda, beat half the Rock, who've started really well. Close with Drawson, and then they beat Whitlets 6-1. That I think surprised everybody. And you're going, well, right, wow. And then to then go and get beat off Yoker at home. Look at that. I can see what's happening after the back of last year. In fairness, I think they lost a lot of quality in the summer as well. We Ollie Smith that went to the Buffs, stuff like that, right quality player. So it's tough, but I look Hangman. Look, all you can do is look at a manager and what he's done based on the resources that he's got and go, actually, do you think he'll do well with a better resource, a better stability? Ross likes to try and play football as well on the Astro part, and you go, but that's it. But as I said, look, I can't speak on behalf of committees, but it's more what's the desire of the committee, what they want to do, or are they that concerned right now with the way that it is? Are they going for a big name to try and give the fans a lift or something like that? Look, you never know the approach that they're going to do. taking it all like completely out of context. Look at Maxey for Pollock, where he had done really well with Kirky Rob Roy for ages. We know a lot of resources, really competed well. Thought he'd get, for me, the shot of the big time and stuff, and then Pollock have obviously not been the same, and look, fair play, but if anything, you're going actually the right guy to manage a club with less resources now because he's been there and done it. He's probably just thinking this was my time to go and do it with a bigger budget, so it's a wee bit better. So if you take Ross in consideration for that, he's probably thinking, right, step in there. They probably get a better budget than I've got. I know the environment. He probably knows the committee as well for being in there. And sometimes that's enough maybe to just get your foot in the door. But look, you never know. And look, mate, the rumour mill's crazy with Ollie, isn't it?
Aye, and I've stepped back for it because I like to put stuff out there every so often.
You get any trouble, mate? I occasionally just leave it to Ped Sauce, mate.
I know, by the way. I've actually asked him to come on one time, man. He wasn't for it. The mad baldy man. Just wasn't for it at all. Near he was. I'm going to go a draw with that one. I'll get a scale from my backside now. I think that'll be a draw. But it'll be. I think there'll be goals. 2-2. I'll go 2-2.
Fair enough.
Right, final couple of minutes of the show. We'll dip into the elusive Premier Division. Coming up at home to Drumchapel, Glenafton take on Beath, Johnson Borough take on Pollock, Kilwinning Rangers host Shortsburn Accord, Arthurlie are away to Barfields to play Largs, Renfrew take on Hurlford, Rutherglen, Glencairn are at home to St Cadoc's, and game of the day, Auchinleck Talbot Troon. It's first versus second. Both teams 15 points. Let me just double check that in case I'm making a bit.
Spot on, mate. Absolute no brainer for game of the division is Troon Talbot. And actually, that's one of the games where you're a wee bit disappointed. You've got your game yourself. You're like, that's where you would like to go and see. So I think that'll be.
It's actually quite early on in the season as well, with both teams doing so well. See if that's getting picked up, maybe game 12 or game 13, it's looking a bit more of a game, isn't it? Because maybe the 3 points, you're wanting 3 points regardless, but maybe the 3
maybe
points
matters more.
Maybe matters a bit more, and I think that we've been involved with Drumchapel in that first division this season when we won the league at Thorneywood. The other 4 or 5 games, that came up seemed a little bit less meaningful, and there were games that, if things had gone the other way, they would have been right good games. I think Auchinleck have started fantastically. They've got scored 21 goals in 5 games. That's just no mathematician or whatever, but it's 4 goals a game there or thereabouts. It's
look, that's it. They've been averaging it, haven't they? So I think 4-0, 4-0, 4-2, 7-2, 2-0. You're like, mate,
so we're taking Auchinleck Talbot 4-0, 4-0 win again.
Look, I think if I had to be a betting man, then I'm probably edging towards Talbot to go and take that. But again, look, they both started great, and I think it'll be, if there's not a big crowd at that, I'll be massively surprised, because I know you're saying it's early days, but even still, mate, you're going to, both will want to try and get that 3 points in the bag in the league. I'd say that's easy to say. Everybody wants the 3 points, but so important to try and get that distance early on in this league because it's caught so quickly. And I think what's dangerous, I'll just put this out there for the rest of that Premier Division, is Talbot have not been known for starting so well. At times, normally they finish like a steam train.
Certainly over the last 2 or 3 years, that's
usually due to all the games that they've got to play at the back end because of their cup runs. But to have this kind of start, not to jinx them or anything, but and it's a team that's obviously collectively close to the family. But with the start that they've got, if you need to see them being very difficult to stop already this early into it. But look, either way, it's quickly. If Troon don't derail them then I'm saying it's 5 games in, it's not the end of it. If they don't try and put a wee stop to them at this current point, then it could be a long season trying to play catch up.
Maybe a potential for the Talbot to do a Bankies of last season. Another game in seasons gone by that would look, it would look to definitely whet the appetite is Johnson Borough taking on Port. Now I know we spoke just briefly there about the budget restraints that Maxie's got at Port now, but they've dipped into the lower divisions and picked out some of the star guys in there. I say it on the show every week. I think Josh Gardner's a great coach for Maxie to bring in. Johnston Borough they've had a couple of decent results lately, but they haven't really lit the league on fire just yet. How do you see that game going? Do you think that'll be a convincing Johnston Borough winner? Do you think Maxie will be going out to set his stall and make it difficult for Johnston Borough? But do you think they'll just have too much in the tank in the end?
Look, I see the Borough winning. I don't think it'll be. I would be reserved to say convincingly, just on the basis that, all right, Pollock aren't exactly winning loads of games, but every game's tight. It's not as if they're not getting battered or are into real trouble. So, in fact, look, I think it took us 1 against Talbot, but right now you're going who hasn't? So for that, and look, that's a real hard game to play. It depends what Borough shows up and if Rossiter's got his shooting feet on, because he's just a goal machine right now. I don't think the boy scores tap-ins by the looks of it.
No, he missed a penalty against us.
Oh, did he? I was like, well, there you
go. That goal last week against Bowness was something else.
It was obviously too close to the goal, mate. I think that must have been his issue. Needs to be about 30 yards out for him to find the tap corner.
Yeah.
Look, outstanding talent as well, and I think he had a bit of an injury last year as well, and that probably just showed that they maybe missed that moment of magic that can just turn the tide for you. I see them winning it, mate. I think they've strengthened again, and like what you're saying, they've not started like Talbot, but look, again, it's early days. We know that unless somebody puts a run like the Bankies did last year, then that's going to go right down to the wire. I think you'll know more when the Borough play Talbot. I think that'll be the big decider, and then things like this on Saturday when they play Troon. So I'll say the Borough for a win there. For me, but it'll be close.
Finally, only because I'm involved with Drumchapel and I apparently talk about them all the time on the show. Let's finish up the show on Drumchapel. Seems like the fitting way to do it. Absolutely pumped Topical winning last week midweek 8-2, freak result.
2-0 up as well, mate. Aye.
Well, do you know what? Like it was 2-0 up and cruising, right? Because we go 2-0 up, 2 very, very good goals, by the way. And that was why somebody said to me, why did you put the goals up in an 8-2 defeat and not put the co-winning ones up? Well, one, I'm the Drumchapel media guy. I'm not going to put the co-winning goals up, right? But there were 2 very, very well worked goals, and I thought they deserved to be recognised. But when I spoke to Hope on Saturday, I never managed to get an interview with him after the game. Mostly that wasn't because he didn't want to do it, it's because I just had to be away sharply. Because Hope doesn't ever really shy away from an interview or, getting in front of the camera after, what could all be described as a disaster class. It was a freak result, what I will say is all credit has to go to co-winning for setting out their stall the way they did that second half. But if you were to play that game 10 times over, you'd get a few draws in the mix. Co-winning will win a few games, Drumchapel win a few games. It's never going to be an 8-2 game. I know Hope he apologised to the fans and things like that, which I'm a bit reserved because I don't think he has to come on and do that. He maybe feels like it's the right thing to do, but Drumchapel have got a 71.2% win rate, for their time in the West of Scotland.
Not to be precise, normally.
That's the wee bits that I keep, what I mean?
Picked half the top of your head. Look, again, we spoke about it earlier on, that going 2-0 up early on within the game, and you're going, lads sometimes think, right, that's it, we're cruising, and that I don't mean fit half a gas. I've not seen the game or anything like that at all, but just naturally the desire anything that happens. But it's such a nervy scoreline as well. 2-0, 3-1. All it takes is a wee goal to just kick it, and It can be luck as well. Like every gaffer talks about it. The margins are so tight, and for me, like I say, the margins are so tight at the weekend there between us being 6-0 or 4-3 or whatever it may be, and like you say, and that's all the difference that it takes. That they've just on the day been really really clinical on it. And look, the Buffs have got that in them. We played them in pre-season, and I think they beat Largs in the final of that pre-season tournament. I think I want to say 6-3. I'm going back a wee bit there, so I'm going. They've got the ability to score the goals, and I think it came from a plethora of players across the squad, didn't it? So it's not as if strikers banged in five. It's goals for all over the place. 6 different scorers, maybe.
Mark Lamont's 2 deliveries into the box were sensational. That long throw the number 5 has, I can't remember his name. I'm really sorry. The big number 5s. You're talking about Linos' throw earlier on. It's nowhere. I mean, Linos has got a great throw, but this guy's is, you're just past the halfway line, mate, and he's launching it in, right on
your box.
And that's, see, try to deal with that. You must see as a player, I know I would be like, wow, what the hell, it's now that teams know that they've got it, they can prepare for it and things like that. I don't even know how you prepare for that as a gaffer personally. You just do you stick about. Honestly, it's one of the ones where you're just like, let's just try and defend this and hope for the best.
There's a mix. Whitlets had it last year, and we took a wee bit of a different approach against Whitlets when they had
the
it.
Same boy that had the long throw against us when we played them as well. That boy was actually on loan. He was on like Talbot, I'm sure, off the air or something like that.
Fraser, I think his name might be. Brad. Loves a bit of the high rocks, I believe. So, and that's how he can throw the ball so much. So he'll be good. He'll be good pals with PG. PG loves the high rocks day. But I look, and that's it. And we took a wee bit of a dangerous approach of keeping 3 up. And then clearing the box. Look, we're not the biggest team, so I was like, actually, why invite more bodies into the box to make it a bit of a stramash, clear a wee bit of space, and then you're asking your goalie to come out and be brave and remember he's got horns and come and collect and punch stuff. And looking at worked in the day for us for that, but again, that you only learn that lesson after playing them. So, like you say, when you know they've got that kind of cannon, and then next time you go, all right, we're prepared. So it's a mix, or you go that way, or you going right away dragging all our bodies in here and making it really difficult, making it later no space, but. Hot takes is a wee ricochet, a wee lucky bounce to fall in and a wee tap in that happens. So
that's how I felt.
Like, hard one.
Genuinely, see, like watching that. I've got the unfortunate circumstances where I have to watch a game for a second time. So like I felt like, as I said, it's no disrespect. I'm not taking that fantastic victory away for winning at all. Maybe it's just because I thought we just didn't manage the game at all in any way, shape, or form. After scoring 2 goals, and by the way, we had chances to go 3-4 up, before they got back into the game. I'm not there on Saturday. I'm in coach duties. We play Berwick Rangers on Saturday. I'll make a wee prediction. As much as I want Drumchapel to win that, I think that might be a draw. I hope the boys go and get the 3 points. But I think Cumnock have improved from last season. Signed some right good players. I know a few boys have left, but I just think for me,
the main one has to be 40, then to up top. Who's if he's not going to get you goals, who is? Definitely, I agree with you. They've strengthened. It's going to be tight, but. Say, look, imagine Hopey like anybody, and every gaffer's looking for a big bounce back within the league for them to go.
We got the bounce back last week in the Oakley game, right? But it's not quite the same playing a team in the cup for the second division of the East. You're no disrespect to them, but
but sometimes that's a wee comfort that you need just to get you that wee reset to then going back on. So and get back into it. So like you said, they can happen, mate. They can easily happen, and you can take wee sore ones. And like we did last year, we get battered 8-0 off Cumbernauld, and it was a real low moment. As I said, I questioned my existence within the game after that. And you go, all right, what do you going to do? And then you find something within yourself. You go and kick on. And even in that game, it could have been and another day it could have been 8-5, 8-6, 8-7, 8-0 is horrible. So like we
Aye.
were saying there, where you're going 8-2 and you're going, and there the wee moments that all the gaffers talk about their players. When you're in control of a game, it's so important that you go and kill it half, you go and get that third, you go and get that fourth. Because if you
Yeah.
don't, you leave hope, desire, all of that. He come back in. I know you're saying they're sharing the goals because it deserves. For me, I'm a firm believer in interview highlights, no matter where it is. You can't just do it when it's
Aye,
nice
when
and
you're
rosy
winning.
and stuff like that. I was like, you need to, for me, either do it or you don't do it. I was like, so you're either
Aye.
going to show the. I think Nielsen always just show their goals. So when you're talking about that, so I'd say you're either doing, for me, you're either doing match highlights or you're doing goal highlights or whatever.
Aye.
It's like I genuinely don't really care what people do as long as they're consistent in doing it and they're not
Aye.
coming out and talking when they're winning, and then when they're getting beat, you don't hear anything. And I was like, I think you just need to be like
As a
collectively.
media guy, I kind of force that upon them anyway. I'm very honest and open. I'll say, like, listen, you've got to come and do an interview. I had it. I don't even think as a manager I ever refused to do an interview. I had one time with John Doyle, who obviously I'm at with Cumbernauld Colts now, when he was at St Cadoc's. I think there was a moment where I could see in his face that it wasn't the right thing to do, and I just left it. I just got in my car and went up the road. But I think, like, most managers are now happy. They realise the importance of social media and marketing, and getting stuff on Twitter and or X.
Like the fans want it as well, they want that engagement. They don't really want, and I think they can excuse it. See when it's a blip, like you say, like what have they won? The lad, you can see in the web at the last five, they've won four. You know what I mean, and then obviously they've had that blip. So I think
You
that's
said
different.
you just said there, fans don't mind it. They don't mind a wee blip. I actually had somebody message the Jump Chapel page asking for a refund.
Okay, look at you're always going to get that, and at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and slaughter fans. They
No,
keep they keep our
they're the
clubs
best.
they keep our clubs going. There's some crazy opinions like we all have
Oh,
out there, but the way that I always say in my lads as well within it is. And what annoys me is times again, and last year we had some socials, some bad socials when we were going through a bad time, and then you
yeah.
don't hear anything from them when you're going through the good time. There's no comments or anything for the individual. So you go and
Aye.
look, and I take that credit at times, and I have that wee giggle to myself. The odd times I'll bite on the socials myself. I'll try not to, but sometimes it gets the better of me to go and do it. But look, at the end of the day, like you say, you've all got opinions. You know what's happened. People question why he's not playing, why he's not playing. They don't see the ins and outs of training. They don't see who's on it. They don't go, this boy's trained tremendous Monday, Wednesday, Monday, Thursday, or whatever, and that's why he's in it. All right, he's had a shock on the Saturday. Aye, but I can't account for that because he's been great during the week. So there's just all the wee small margin stuff that people don't see. Even at the professional level, you hear
Oh,
it
aye.
all sorts, and you're going, why is he still in the team? And you go, well, maybe he's offering something. Maybe he's listening to instructions.
Yeah.
Maybe the other boy that you want in isn't doing what the gaffer's telling him to do. And it could be as
Aye.
simple as that. You're not following the game plan. You're not where I'm asking you to be. So actually, you'll not play until you start tuning in.
I've been
I think
around a lot
you're
of I've been around a lot of ex-professionals that have played at a high level over the last 5 years, and some of their stories are absolutely outrageous. But we'll leave it there. We'll not get anybody into trouble, Marky.
aye, good, right?
We've rambled on for 1 minute 22. We were supposed to keep it to an hour, right? But the conversation's obviously been too good for us too. Obviously, people will just
That's
tune
it,
out
mate.
after 40
Premium
minutes.
content, charge extra for the last 20 minutes, mate.
I know PG's been asking people for a quid. We need to ask for £2.
Aye, definitely. That's two shows
Listen,
we've
mate,
done, mate.
delighted to have you on. It's been a long time in the waiting. Good luck for your game on Saturday. I hope you get. Have you played Valley Clyde in the friendly yet? Is that happened yet?
Hi, 7 o'clock kickoff.
Right. So that would be 2 hours from now. So you
Yep.
better hurry up and get there,
Better
mate.
hurry up and get there, mate.
Good luck for that. I hope you get you need to get out of that as well. And thanks very much for coming on, mate.
No worries, look, pleasure, mate, and thanks for having me after I've had a good run of results. Nothing worse coming on here in a bad time, so they appreciate the timing.
Good man. Quick shout out again to our sponsors of the episode, VSN Sport. I say it time and time again on this, they are the best supplier for bespoke kit, and they are very local. They are based in an industrial estate in Crawley Bank. You can contact Gary on 041 883 7612 for now. Thank you.